যে আনিল প্রেম দন করুণা প্রচুর হেন প্রভু কোথা গেলা আচার্য ঠাকুর কাহা মোর স্বরূপ রূপ কাহা সনাতন কাহা দাস রঘুনাথ পতিত পাবা কাহা মোর বট যোগ কাহা কবীরা এককালে কোথা গেলা গোর নটরা পাশানে কুটিব মাতা অনলে পাশিব গৌরাঙ্গ গুণের নিধি কোথা গেলে পাব সেসব সঙ্গীর সঙ্গে যে কইল বিলাস সে সঙ্গ না পায়া কান্দে নরোত্তম দাস যে আনিল প্রেম ধন করুণা প্রচুর করুণা প্রচুর হেন প্রভু কোথা গেলা আচার্য ঠাকুর श्री ईश्वर पुरी तिरुभाव महोत्सव की जय। श्री ईश्वर पुरी की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की। श्रीमते भक्ति विकास स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति विकास स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So today is a very auspicious day. Today is the disappearance day of Sri Isvara Puri. So one of the very exalted Vaishnavas in the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, and also Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is the Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. In the beginning chapters of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, he explains that how Supreme Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he himself is the tree of bhakti, and also he is the main trunk of bhakti, and Sri Advaita Prabhu and Nityananda Prabhu are the two main branches, and then there are further other branches that comes out of it. So Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami explains how Isvara Puri, how he became the spiritual, he took the service of being the spiritual master of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, and further descriptions are given in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, and also Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, he narrates some of the incidents about the meeting of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Isvara Puri, and also how when he was Nimai, what were the interactions that happened between Nimai and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so Nimai and Isvara Puri. So some of the pastimes are described. So we will try to remind ourselves and remember how Isvara Puri dedicated his life in the service of his own Guru, Sri Madhavendra Puri, and by that he showed a great example of who can be an ideal disciple, and being an ideal disciple, he is qualified to become an ideal Guru. So we will try to remember about that. And another auspicious thing is that just yesterday we were reading one of the purports from Srila Prabhupada's 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. So Arjuna is requesting Krishna to again remind about some of these opulences and details. So in one of the purports, Srila Prabhupada is explaining that to again and again hear about Krishna and his devotees, it is ever fresh, and it is it's not monotonous or it's not boring. It's because it is on the transcendental platform, it is always surcharged with enthusiasm. So similarly, hearing about the Lord and his pure devotees, we might have heard about some of the pastimes, we might have you might even hear it 100 times, but still it is fully potent with transcendental energy that is coming from the Lord's Chit potency. So it's always very auspicious, and this is the best way by which we can actually develop our taste for hearing, and develop taste for hearing about Vasudeva Katha. In fact, Shukadeva Goswami in the beginning pages of the Bhagavatam, he stresses this point: Shushusho Shraddha Dhanasya Vasudeva Katha Ruchihi Syan Mahat Sevaya Vipra Punya Tirtha Nishevanat. So he explains the point that how does one develop taste for the topics of the Lord? How does one develop the taste? So he suggests that the best way one can develop taste for the Lord is to render service to the pure devotees of the Lord. By rendering pure devotees service to the pure devotees of the Lord, one develops, or one gets the mercy of the devotees, one may acquire his qualities, and he becomes the recipient to be absorbed in hearing about the glories of the Supreme Lord. One develops taste for it. In the material world, we are all suffering and struggling because of our various conditioning, because of our various backgrounds, because of our various sinful acts that we have performed in so many millions of lifetimes. But Krishna is so merciful, he has given a perfect path. He himself descends. Not only that, he sends his pure devotees who are carrying Krishna in his heart. And great personalities like Isvara Puri, just remembering about him, speaking about him, discussing about him, we are so much purified and we become recipient to develop love for Krishna. So and if you just see the life of Isvara Puri, you may be seeing that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself, he showed a very important principle in the life of anyone, for that matter, that one should accept a bona fide spiritual master to make progress in the path of spiritual life. So that's a very important lesson that we learn, that how when Lord Chaitanya, when Krishna came as Lord Chaitanya, he showed by accepting Isvara Puri as his spiritual master. In the Swayam Bhagavan, as Krishna himself, he also showed that one has to accept a spiritual master and render service to him, make submissive inquiries, be very humble, and in that way one can make progress. So Krishna accepted Sandipani Muni as his spiritual master, and so in that way we can see that one needs a spiritual master. Without the mercy of the spiritual master, one cannot make any progress. In fact, this is the most fundamental subject of the topics of bhakti, and we can see this very nicely. It is narrated. Recently, we had this Advaita Saptami. So, one of the sons of Advaita Acharya, who is Achyutananda, he is asking his father a question. So, he is asking how to understand the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. He is Jagat Guru, he is the master of everyone. And how is it that there can be a guru for him? He is a small boy. Small boy is asking this question. So Advaita Acharya was so pleased by that question. So that's a fact. So why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu needs a guru? But then the understanding is that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu disguised himself as a devotee, and as a devotee he shows to the entire world that one should accept a spiritual master and render service to him. So this was the Srila Vrindavan Thakur. He very interestingly puts the point. He says that under the influence of material knowledge, many foolish persons accept Sri Gaura Sundara as a disciple of Sri Isvara Puri. But in order to deliver such deluded people from calamity, Sri Vrindavan Thakur, the king of Vaishnavas, established Isvara Puri as a recipient of the Lord's mercy. So this is the understanding, that Isvara Puri became the recipient of receiving the mercy of the Lord. It's not that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu needs a spiritual master, but the Lord is enacting that pastime. So very nicely Vrindavan Thakur makes that point. And by studying the life of Sri Isvara Puri, we can learn a very important lesson, how a disciple should be ready to render whatever may be the service that is required for the mission of his spiritual master. And also we speak about Vapu Seva and Vani Seva. One is following the instructions of the Guru, which is the most important, and also there is also importance given about serving the spiritual master personally. And we can see two acharyas who have done that in our sampradaya. One is the Narottama Das Thakur, the service that he rendered to Lokanath Goswami, how he got initiation from him. That was such an amazing thing. How he did, although Lokanath Goswami was not ready to initiate, he was not ready to accept any disciples, but because of the great humility and the determination to serve and please the spiritual master, Lokanath Goswami, being pleased by the exemplary service of Narottama Das Thakur, he accepted him as his disciple. Similarly, we can see here Isvara Puri, when Madhavendra Puri was in his older days, when he was performing the pastimes of being sick and not able to move, he was bedridden. So at that time, Isvara Puri rendered such menial services. What are the menial services he rendered? Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he very nicely puts it. He said, Isvara Puri Goshai Kare Sripada Sevana Swahaste Karene Mala Mutradi Marjana. So he was rendering service by cleaning the stool and the urine with his own hand. This is what Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami very specifically is pointing out. So this shows that one should take a very menial position and should accept the spiritual master. The scriptures explain that the spiritual master is non-different from the Lord. And one should always keep that in mind in our interactions with the spiritual master. In our interaction, we may see his external form, and he may appear to be like an ordinary person, but we should never put him on the ordinary platform. That should be the consciousness of the disciple, and Isvara Puri very specifically he showed that. And also the Bhagavatam also established a very important principle, how the Lord is beyond the three modes of material nature. He is not under the control of the three modes of material nature. Similarly, he is pure devotee who is completely absorbed in the service of the Lord. He is also not influenced by the three modes of material nature. Etad ishanam ishasya prakriti stopi tad gunaihi na yujyate sadatmastair yata buddhis tadashrayah. So prakriti stopi tad gunaihi. The Lord is not influenced by the three modes. Similarly, na yujyate sadatmastair. So a devotee who is absorbed in the service of the Lord, so he is also not influenced by the material quality. So similarly, Isvara Puri had this clear vision that Madhavendra Puri is a pure devotee of the Lord, and he had complete faith. Just the goal of life is to please the spiritual master. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado. Yasya aprasadan nagati kutopi. So this is the principle with which every devotee practices spiritual life. Sakshat dharitvena samasta shastrai. Uktas tatha bhav yata eva sadbhihi. So the Vedas clearly explain that the spiritual master has to be respected as Hari himself. This is the conclusions of all the Vedic scriptures. And this understanding Isvara Puri very much he had. And also there is another important principle. Srila Prabhupada in his lectures, in his conversations, used to many times quote this verse. Yasya deve parabhaktir yata deve tata kurau tasyarte katita hyartah prakashante mahatmana. To whom the conclusions of the scriptures is revealed. For to a person who has implicit faith in Krishna and the spiritual master. This is the secret process of actually getting realizations in the path of spiritual life. One may be a great scholar, one may be well learned, one may have so much of skills, but if he does not have faith in the words of the spiritual master and is not ready to abide by his instructions, the conclusions of the scriptures will not be revealed. So this is the whole subject matter which is being repeated again and again. We can see in the purpose of the Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita in conversations, because it's the fundamental principle by which the Krishna conscious movement actually works. So that we need to understand. So we can see here how Isvara Puri was a great example of this verse. Nirantara Krishna Nama Karai Smaran Krishna Nama Krishna Leela Shunai Anukan. Isvara Puri was always chanting the holy name and pastimes of Lord Krishna for Madhavendra Puri to hear. In this way, he helped Madhavendra Puri remember the holy name and pastimes of Lord Krishna at the time of death. So this was another service he was doing. He was apart from doing all the menial services, he used to chant the names of Krishna. He used to speak about the pastimes about Krishna, and Madhavendra Puri was relishing, and then he was hearing. And on the contrary, we can see Ramachandra Puri, who was very critical about his own spiritual master. He was in fact criticizing that actually Madhavendra Puri is just crying, he is in the Brahman platform. So like that he was criticizing, and we know what are the post effects that happen. So by offending a Vaishnava, by criticizing a Vaishnava, the first symptom that happens is that one develops material desires. This is a subtle. Sometimes one may wonder in one's spiritual life, I am chanting, I am doing everything, but what's happening? But this is the effect of offending a Vaishnava, that gradually material desires creep in, and that forms the stepping stone for the fall down of a devotee. So one has to be very careful. We learn from this, from the life of the contrasting life of Isvara Puri and Madhavendra Puri, how one should be very respectful in dealing with one's spiritual master. One should have faith. One should make submissive inquiries, and always be very respectful in the dealings with the spiritual master. So this is a very important lesson that we learn from here. And we also see some of the pastimes are mentioned in the Chaitanya Bhagavat between Isvara Puri and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One of the amazing pastime that we see, that although Isvara Puri is a very, very exalted personality, he was a sannyasi. Once he came, Isvara Puri and Advaita Acharya, both of them are disciples of Madhavendra Puri. So Isvara Puri was traveling, and he came to the place of Navadvip. So he came to the house of Advaita Acharya, and Advaita Acharya was busy engaged in worshipping the deities. So when he was doing puja, at that time actually Isvara Puri entered, and he was very humble. He was not showing attention that he has come. He was very peaceful. He was sitting in a corner. And then immediately, a pure Vaishnava, he cannot be hidden. Immediately there was so much tejas, so much effulgence coming from his body. He was quite self-evident that some great Vaishnava is there, has reached that place. So some of them were really wondering to see him. And Advaita Acharya also approached him, and the moment he saw him, he understood that he is some exalted personality. And Vrindavan Das Thakur, he explains what was the response of Isvara Puri when Advaita Acharya inquired, "Who are you?" So Isvara Puri is responding, "Bole na Isvara Puri, ami Shudra Dhama, deki bhare ailana tumara charana." He says that I am lower than a Shudra. I have come here simply to see your lotus feet. So actually, Isvara Puri was in great ecstasy. He wanted to see Advaita Acharya, being his own god brother. When he came there, he was in great ecstasy to see him. So he says that I just came here just to take shelter of your lotus feet. Who am I? I'm lower than a Shudra, but he is an exalted Vaishnava. So this is another thing that we can see that in the practice of our life, whatever maybe you might have spent some time in Krishna consciousness. There may be so many devotees who may be getting advice from us or taking instructions from us, and whatever may be our status, we should never forget that our actual constitutional position is Jivera Swarupa Hoy Krishna re Nitya Das. And not only that, a Vaishnava further, he goes further, one step ahead. He always thinks that him to be Gopi Bhritya Pada Kamalayor Dasa Dasanudas. This is his conception, this is his understanding. And in fact, here we can see the exalted response of Isvara Puri, how he considers himself to be even lower than a Shudra. So there was another amazing incident that happened when Nimai was a young boy, and we know that he had such a proficiency in the study of Sanskrit, and he was a teacher as well after some time. So once Isvara Puri, he had visited Nadia, so he was in Navadvip, and then he met Nimai, and so Nimai was he was very pleased to see Isvara Puri, and then he wanted to hear from him. He invited Nimai to Isvara Puri to his house, and then he was submissively serving him. His mother cooked a nice lunch for him, and then Isvara Puri used to discuss from his books, from whatever his writings, he used to discuss with Nimai. So this was the incident. So once in that situation, what happened, Isvara Puri was completely absorbed in describing about the topics of Lord Krishna. And there is a beautiful book that he had actually compiled called Sri Krishna Leelamrita. So he used to teach Gadadhar Pandit, who was also so much absorbed in hearing about Krishna Katha. So he used to discuss and he used to speak about the beautiful pastimes from that book. Now there is another interesting thing that Isvara Puri, although he didn't show that actually Nimai was the supreme personality of Godhead. He was actually behaving with him like he was a normal student, and he was reciprocating like that. So since Nimai was also well versed in the study of the scriptures, so Isvara Puri one day he asked him, "Hashiya bolena tumi parama pandita ami puti kadiyachi krishnera charita." So Isvara Puri smiled and said, "You are a big scholar. I have written a book about the characteristics of Lord Krishna. So I will be most satisfied if you tell me if there is any fault." So he was requesting him, "You please find out some fault in this book. I would be very happy." Then it's really amazing how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nimai was responding. So he explains, he says that whoever finds fault in a devotee's description of Lord Krishna is a sinful person. Krishna is certainly pleased with his devotee's poetry, even though it is imperfectly composed. An educated person may chant Vishnaya, while a sober person will chant the proper form, Vishnave, but the Supreme Lord Krishna will accept both forms when they are chanted with devotion. So Nimai started explaining that there can be no fault in your work. And even, so indirectly saying that even there may be, apparently it may appear like there are some faults, but the Lord is Bhavagrahi Janardana. So actually that verse comes in this context only. So there is a small purport in the Chaitanya Bhagavat for this. It's very interesting. I will just little bit read that. To Lord Krishna, a Pandita, expert in correct language, and someone ignorant of correct language are both equal. Of the two, Krishna bestows more mercy on the one who has more enthusiasm for the service of Krishna. So this is the whole point. So yesterday we had some discussion that if someone has got good panditva, or he is very well, he's good in Sanskrit grammar, he knows in and out, and he also equally explains in a devotional spirit, that the Lord appreciates it so much. One may not be such an expert in the language, but equally he has got tremendous enthusiasm to glorify Krishna and to spread his glories. Krishna is equally pleased with that devotee as well. So that is the point that is being made here. That's what Nimai Pandit is teaching here. So-called learned persons who are devoid of devotion proudly consider themselves learned as they reveal their foolishness by pointing out faults in the transcendental language of the pure devotees. The Supreme Lord and Master of Saraswati confirms the foolishness of the so-called learned offenders who are envious of the devotees at every step. Thus their pride of learning is diminished. Due to the absence of realization in the absolute truth, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, they belch forth mundane knowledge of sense enjoyment. This is the cause of their disease and fall down. So when someone do not know the position of the Lord and his teachings, so they may end up finding fault. So that's not the right attitude. Here Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur in his commentary is pointing out this. So now this is the famous verse that we many times we hear. Murko vadati Vishnaya, Dhiro vadati Vishnave, Ubayostu samang punyam, Bhavagrahi Janardana. This is the verse always we hear, no? Bhavagrahi Janardana. So this is what is it. So at the time of offering obeisances to Lord Vishnu, a foolish person chants Vishnaya Namaha, because he does not know the proper grammar, he does not know the proper pronunciation. And the learned person chants Vishnave Namaha. But both achieve equal piety by their offering of obeisances, because Lord Sri Janardana sees the sentiment of the living being. In other words, he sees the degree of devotion, or in other words, he awards the result accordingly. So we know from the Chaitanya Charitamrita's pastime also how the Brahmana who was in Srirangam with great enthusiasm, and in fact he knew the conclusions of the entire scriptures just by looking at the beautiful form of the Lord as Parthasarathi. He was in tears, although he didn't know actually how to read also, but still he was sincerely trying to endeavor to fulfill the instructions of his spiritual master. He took the responsibility to study the Bhagavad Gita. So that's the whole point. So then he said that who will dare to find fault in your work? Your descriptions of Krishna's pastimes are glorious. So Isvara Puri was so happy to hear that. He said, Shunya Isvara Puri Prabhura Uttar Amrita Shinchita Haila Sarva Kalebar. Hearing Nimai's reply was like a shower of nectar on the body of Isvara Puri. He then smiled and said, you will not be at fault, but you must tell me if there is any error in the book. So he was still requesting, please still you see if there is any error, you go through it and then tell me if there is any error. So again there is so much of text there. The essence after that, actually Nimai Pandit, he comes out with a grammatical text. He says that maybe this form should not be used, a different form should be used. So he gives a suggestion to Isvara Puri, and then Isvara Puri, he further explains why I have used this particular form. And he gives some explanation, and Nimai was happy with that, and Isvara Puri was also happy with it. So that's that pastime took in Navadvip. Then another very famous pastime which every one of us know, why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Gaya. So some may think that actually we went to do the Shraddha ceremony, but his actual aim of going to Gaya was not to perform Shraddha ceremony. He wanted to take shelter of Isvara Puri. That was the intention for which he went. And Vrindavan Das Thakur in his Chaitanya Bhagavat has very nicely explained it. So we will see some sections of it. Daiva joge Isvara Puri oishe kane ailena Isvara ichai stane. By the divine will of the Supreme Lord, at the moment Sri Isvara Puri arrived at place. So there is a background behind it. Actually, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu goes to Gaya, he goes to different temples, he hears the different devotees glorifying Krishna, glorifying the lotus feet of the Lord, because you see the Vishnupad is there in Gaya, right? So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is completely immersed in ecstasy. And there, right at that moment, Isvara Puri comes to that place. Isvara Puri re deki Sri Gaura Sundara Namaskarile Ati Kariyadhara. On seeing Sri Isvara Puri, Sri Gaura Sundara respectfully offered him obeisances. Isvara Puri was also delighted to see Gaura Sundara and he happily embraced him. In the ecstasy of meeting each other, they both became soaked with tears of love. So now we see, this is the secret here. He says that my journey to Gaya has become successful the moment I was able to see your lotus feet. And then Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he goes on to explain in the purport that actually what is the importance of going to a tirtha. And he gives a reference of a beautiful song that is written by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he points out about various holy places, Kashi, Rameshwaram, Avanti, many other holy places he points out, and he says that what is the importance of going to these places? We are always super enthusiastic to go to the holy places. And but that same enthusiasm is not there, coming for the Bhagavatam class or hearing Krishna Katha. But that, if you hear that song, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is explaining that actually even you go to the holy place, you have to go and then take shelter of a Vaishnava. You have to go and then serve the Vaishnavas. You have to hear Harikatha from the Vaishnavas. And the Vaishnavas will glorify the holy name. They will glorify Krishna's beautiful Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela. This you need to take shelter. So that's what here, actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is pointing out that actually my life has become successful because I have taken shelter of your lotus feet. So when you get time, you can look at that song. It's a beautiful song where Bhaktivinoda Thakur, the song goes like this: Manatumi Tirtha Sadarata Ayodhya Mathura Maya Kashi Kanchi Avantiya Dwaravati Ara Ache Jata. So this is a song. In the song he completely explains how all the holy places, all the effects of the benefits one get by going to the holy place, everything is residing in the lotus feet of a pure devotee. So this is the whole point. And then further, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is glorifying the greatness of Isvara Puri. He says, if one offers oblations to the forefathers in a holy place, then the forefathers are delivered. But one delivers only he to whom the oblation was offered. By seeing you, however, millions of forefathers are immediately freed from material bondage. So this is the effect of just by taking darshan of a pure devotee. This is the effect of that. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Lord, Supreme Lord himself, he shows the power of pure devotional service, specifically serving the devotee, pure devotee of the Lord. So he explains, Ataeva tirtha nahe tumara shaman, tirtere o parama tumi mangala pradhan. Therefore holy places are not equal to you, for you purify even the holy places. So the Bhagavatam also explains the same point, right? Bhavad vida Bhagavatas tirtha bhuta swayam vibho tirti kurvanti tirtani swantastena gadagraja, gadabrita. Yeah. So here, this is the concept. Yudhishthira and Vidura, they are pointing out, the Yudhishthira is pointing out Vidura that you are tirtha personified. Simply by taking shelter of you, we attain all perfection. The same point here, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is submitting, and also Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is as a disciple. What should one ask the spiritual master? Here he sets the mood. He says, "Samsara samudra haite uddharaha more e ami deha samarpilana tumare." Please deliver me from the ocean of material existence. I surrender myself unto you. Krishna pada padmera amrita rashapan amare karo tumi eichahidan. I beg that you make me drink the nectar of Krishna's lotus feet. So this is the whole point, by actually taking shelter of the lotus feet of the pure devotee, we follow his instructions, we follow the principles of sadhana bhakti the spiritual master has given. So this will naturally result in attachment to the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord and also to the lotus feet of the Guru and all the Vaishnavas. So this is the whole point. Yeah. And then immediately Ishwara Puri responds, Bhalena Ishwara Puri Shunaha Pandita Tumi je Ishwara Angsha Janinu Nishtita. Ishwara Puri then said, listen dear Pandita, I know without doubt that you are an expansion of the Supreme Lord. Can anyone other than expansion of the Supreme Lord possess the extraordinary learning and characteristics that you have? I had an auspicious dream last night and today I have obtained the fruits of the dream. Oh Pandita, I am telling you the truth. I am feeling great ecstasy every moment since I have seen you. From the time I saw you in Nadia, my heart had no other attraction. I am speaking the truth, nothing else. When I see you, I feel the happiness of seeing Krishna. Hearing his beloved Ishwara Puri's truthful words, the Lord smiled and said, it is my great fortune. So this is how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met Ishwara Puri and Ishwara Puri initiated Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So then that is also being explained very nicely. And one other incident happened while Chaitanya Mahaprabhu resided in Gaya for some time. Ishwara Puri once visited Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That incident also is explained by Vrindavan Das Thakur. So he says, Prema joge Krishna nama bholite bholite, ailena prabhustane dhulite dhulite. Ishwara Puri's head was rolling back and forth in ecstatic love as he arrived there chanting the names of Krishna. The Lord immediately, so the Lord actually was in his house, he was cooking that day, he was making preparations. So at that time Ishwara Puri arrived to that place. And the moment he heard the loud chanting of Ishwara Puri, the Lord left the kitchen and then he immediately came out and offered full obeisances to the spiritual master. This is also a very important lesson. The moment we see not only the spiritual master, any Vaishnava, any exalted Vaishnava, the first thing that we do is offer prostrated obeisances to him. So this is a very important principle in devotional service. So we can see the Supreme Lord enacting that past time. The moment he saw him, he fell flat, the Dandavat Pranam, he completely fell flat onto the lotus feet of Ishwara Puri. So Ishwara Puri is he is kind of joking with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in a very in a smiling way. He makes the point that, oh listen, oh Pandita, I see I have come at the right time, because he saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was cooking. So the Lord replied, it will be my good fortune if you accept your meal here today. Then Ishwara Puri responds, then he says, well, what will you eat? You have cooked only various, what will you eat? The Lord replied, I will cook again. Ishwara Puri then said, what is the need for cooking again? Divide whatever you have in 2 portions. The Lord smiled and said, if you really want to please me, then eat whatever I have cooked. I will cook again within a moment. You take your meal without hesitation. So that the Lord, very in a great pleasing way, actually served Ishwara Puri to his full satisfaction. He served whatever that he cooked. He served Ishwara Puri and he was in great ecstasy serving him like that. There was nothing left. And then he again cooked, and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he took the prasad. Ishwara Puri's mind never deviated from the lotus feet of Krishna. Therefore, the Lord bestowed such mercy on him. So here, Vrindavan Das Thakur is making the point that how such kind of amazing interactions are happening between Ishwara Puri and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He gives background that because he sincerely served his spiritual master Madhavendra Puri. And not only that, he was so much absorbed in chanting the holy names of the Lord. He was very enthusiastic and eager always to serve Krishna. So the Lord arranged for his meeting with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then also he got great opportunity to being cooked by the Supreme Lord himself, and the Supreme Lord himself fed him. So this is all great mercy that he received because of rendering pure devotional service, specifically rendering unadulterated service to his spiritual master. Yeah, there was another amazing example set by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, showing that how the disciple expresses his devotion to the spiritual master. Once, actually there was a place called Kumarahatta, that is the birthplace of Ishwara Puri. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to visit that place, actually he rolled there, he was in great ecstasy, just being to that place, he rolled in ecstasy, he was chanting Krishna's name, and then he took some mud from there and he always kept with him, and he used to Yeah, he was in fact worshipping, and he was also taking little bit of that mud every day. So that is what was explained. Here, Vrindavan Das Thakur is explaining that Prabhu Bhale Kumara Hatter Namaskar Sri Isvara Puri Re Je Grame Avatar. I offer my obeisances to the village of Kumara Hatta where Sri Isvara Puri appeared. Lord Chaitanya cried profusely at that place and spoke nothing other than the name of Isvara Puri. The Lord took some dust from the birthplace of Isvara Puri and tied it in his cloth. The Lord said, the dust from the birthplace of Isvara Puri is my life, wealth and living force. E Mritika Amara Jivana Dhana Pran. The Lord exhibited such affection for Isvara Puri because he takes pleasure in increasing the glories of his devotees. This is another amazing thing, no? The Lord actually, he always gives credit to his devotees. He always wants to glorify his devotees. That is his satisfaction. On the other hand, the devotee always takes a very menial position, always glorifies the Lord. This is the transcendental loving exchange between the pure devotee and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Prabhupada, in one of the purports in the Bhagavatam, I think, he says that there is a transcendental competition between the Supreme Lord and his devotee in rendering service to each other. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he makes the point that finally my life has become successful by having come to Gaya. You know, the success is that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted Isvara Puri as his own spiritual master and he rendered great service to him. So then also Vrindavan Thakur specifically is pointing out how in a humble way Chaitanya Mahaprabhu approached Isvara Puri and how Isvara Puri gave him the mantra. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is asking Isvara Puri, so he is like, can you please initiate me? When he was requesting in a very humble mode, he is saying, Isvara Puri replied, what to speak of mantra, I can give my life to you. Then in order to instruct everyone, the Lord accepted the 10-syllable mantra from Isvara Puri. Basically accepted him as his spiritual master. Now Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is pointing out, Sri Gaurasundara is directly Sri Krishna. All glories to my instructing spiritual master, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who wears peacock feathers in his crown. Though situated in the heart of Isvara Puri Pada as the Chaitya Guru Super Soul, in order to instruct everyone that it is essential for a person desiring to attain the goal of life to first take shelter at the lotus feet of spiritual master, Mahaprabhu personally accepted Puri Pada as his Guru and enacted the pastime of receiving the mantra from him. So then after accepting the mantra, then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu offered obeisances, he circumambulated Isvara Puri, and then from that time he became a madman. He started all his panditva, all his big studies of grammar and everything changed. He just started chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. By chanting Krishna's name, he was soaked in tears, he was in great ecstasy. He became like a madman, and always he was agitated due to the ecstatic love over Krishna. So that was the great benediction he got after taking shelter of Isvara Puri. And in the just before concluding, just few words from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. We can see the interesting section after Isvara Puri, after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met Isvara Puri. Then when he came he was in Banaras, and then he was meeting the disciples of Prakashananda Saraswati and all other devotees. So at that time, the response was amazing because he really took the instruction very seriously. Although it is he is Supreme Lord himself, but he was enacting the pastime of a devotee, and then he showed the mood. So this was the famous verse that was spoken by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when Prakashananda Saraswati, he questioned him, what is this? You are a sannyasi? You have studied, you know the conclusions of the Vedas, and what are you dancing like a madman? You are just singing and dancing in the streets. This is not how a sannyasi behaves. So then the response from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Prabhu kahe shuna Shripada ihara karan Guru more murka dheki korila shashan. He said that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied to Prakashananda Saraswati, my dear sir, kindly hear the reason. My spiritual master considered me a fool and therefore he chastised me. He said, Murka tumi tumara nahi ka Vedanta adhikar Krishna mantra japa shada e mantra shar. You are a fool, he said. You are not qualified to study Vedanta philosophy and therefore you must always chant the holy name of Krishna. This is the essence of all mantras or Vedic hymns. Now, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraja Goswami, he goes on, from that time he goes on to explain about the glories of the holy name and how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was absorbed in chanting the holy name. Now there is a very, in one of the purports to the text 91 in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela, chapter 7, text 91, there is an amazing purport given by Srila Prabhupada which sums up the essence of Krishna consciousness in the sense that a devotee accepts a bona fide spiritual master, and accepting the bona fide spiritual master, he takes shelter of him and then he executes the instructions of the spiritual master. When one does that, what is the result? He explains that very nicely. I will just touch upon that and then we will conclude with that. So actually what happens after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu responded to Prakashananda Saraswati like that, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, he expresses his situation to his spiritual master. He says that actually after you gave me this mantra, I don't know what happened, I became mad, I'm chanting, I'm rolling, I'm in great ecstasy, I'm not in my control, all these things explaining. Then there was a response by Isvara Puri. He says that it is very good, my dear child, that you have attained the supreme goal of life by developing love of Godhead. Thus you have pleased me very much and I am very much obliged to you. So this is a very interesting thing. At the end of the day, the Guru is very pleased when a disciple develops love for Krishna. Many times Srila Prabhupada has also responded like this when he was asking, so what is the thing that pleases you most? Many times Srila Prabhupada has responded that, yes, distributing my books. Once Srila Prabhupada said that, if you love Krishna, he said it. So by chanting Krishna's name, if someone can develop love for Krishna, that is the perfection of life. So here Isvara Puri is responding that you have developed great love for Krishna, that is the success of one's life. So in that purport, Srila Prabhupada amazingly points out that how the spiritual master actually becomes very happy by a disciple making progress by developing love for the Lord. So that's an amazing purport. You can have a look at it whenever you get time. And also the point is being stressed again and again that actually this is the only process by which, by accepting the lotus feet of a bona fide spiritual master, following his instructions, taking shelter of him, very sincerely trying to make progress, a devotee, even if there is any inadequacy. Krishna himself says, no, in the Bhagavad Gita, in the Chatushloki Gita, he points out that Tesham Saradayuktanang Bhajatang Priti Purokam Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam Yena Mamopiyanti. The Lord gives the required intelligence to understand about him. Even if you may not be a scholar, you may not understand the many nuances, the details, the technicalities, and you may not be very expert in many fields, doesn't matter. But if he sincerely tries to serve his spiritual master, Krishna is extremely pleased, and he personally gives the guidance, and then he removes whatever obstacles and whatever anarthas and obstacles the Lord seated inside his heart. Tesham evanukam partam aham ajnanajam tamah nashayam atma bhavasto jnana deepena bhaspata. By giving the light of knowledge, by the mercy of the spiritual master, the Supreme Lord bestows his mercy to him. So this, just from this pastime of how Isvara Puri, how he gave mercy to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and in fact he got mercy by his rendering service to his spiritual master. So we can understand that we need to be loyal servants of Srila Prabhupada and his followers, and whatever capacity, whatever strength the Lord has given us, we should always take shelter of the Hari Guru Vaishnavas, and then try our best, endeavor the best way to please our current Acharya and the previous Acharyas. In this way, we will always be happy in Krishna consciousness. In fact, by studying the life of all the great devotees, by hearing about the various pastimes the Lord enacted with his devotees, we can always remember we need to be indebted in our life. And if we are indebted like this, that is the perfection of our life. At any point of time, what qualifications we have, we have big, great exalted devotees, how they took a very humble stand, always thinking themselves to be lower than a blade of grass. And then in fact we can see the prayers, some of the prayers offered by all great acharyas. Krishnadas Kaviraja Goswami, he calls himself, he is lower than a worm in the stool. So all these things the devotees, the great acharyas are showing that we should always remember to be very insignificant, and our life will become successful by constantly remembering about these great devotees. And we are very fortunate that Srila Prabhupada has opened us this whole nectar. Otherwise, how we will know about who is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Isvara Puri, what is this great sampradaya of Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya and the love of God, and such a simple and easy process. It has been given to us by Srila Prabhupada, and we need to be indebted, and we should not become contented by doing little service. Whatever that we can do, we should continue till our last breath. As Srila Prabhupada showed, we should just be continue to render this pure devotional service. In that way, today is a very auspicious day. In these kind of days, we can offer our prayers for strength, to get mercy, so that we can continue in a devotional service with enthusiasm. Hare Krishna. Shri Isvara Puri ki jai. Isvara Puri Tirabhav Mahotsav ki jai. Hare Krishna.